Hi everyone, welcome to the Celebrity Diaries. Diana Ross is an American vocalist and entertainer. She acquired acclaim as the lead artist of the vocal group The Supremes, who turned into Motown's best demonstration during the 1960s and one of the world's smash hit young lady gatherings ever. They stayed the best outlining female gathering in history, with a total of 12 #1 hit singles on the U.S. Bulletin Hot 100. Counting Where Did Our Affection Go?, Child Love Come See About Me, and Love Kids. Since her performance profession started in 1970, Diana Ross has delivered 25 studio collections, various singles, and arrangements that have sold in excess of 100 million records overall. She's the, as it were, female craftsman to have had #1 singles on the board Hot 100 as a performance craftsman, as the other portion of a two-part harmony, as an individual from a triplet, and as a gathering part in 1976. She was named the Female Performer of the 100 Years by Board on November 16, 2016. She was declared as one of the 21 beneficiaries of the official Award of Opportunity, the country's most elevated non-military personnel honor. In 2021, Bulletin positioned her as a 30 most prominent Hot 100 craftsman ever. Diana Ross has an assessed total assets of $250 million US dollars. About Diana Ross's initial life. Diana Ross was conceived on March 26, 1944, in Detroit, Michigan. She was the second of 6 kids brought into the world. Ernestine Motown, who was brought into the world in 1916 and passed on in 1984, and Fred Ross Sr., who was brought into the world in 1920 and passed on in 2007. She grew up with 2 sisters, Barbara and Rita, and 3 siblings, Arthur, Fred Jr., and Wilbert, otherwise called Chico. Diana Ross and her family initially dwelled at 635 Belmont Road in the North End segment of Detroit, close to High Country Park, Michigan, where her neighbor was Smokey Robinson. On her 14th birthday celebration in 1958, her family migrated to the Average Brewster Douglas Lodging Projects, settling at Holy Person Antoine Road. She went to Cass Specialized Secondary School, a 4-year school and preliminary magnet school in Midtown Detroit, and seeking to turn into a style planner, she took classes in apparel plan, millinery design, making and fitting in the nights and on ends of the week. She likewise took demonstrating and cosmetology classes and partook in a few of the school's extracurricular exercises, incorporating its swimming club. In 1960, Hudson's Midtown Detroit store recruited Diana Ross as its most memorable African-American transport young lady for additional pay. She likewise gave styling administrations to her neighbors. In January 1962, she moved on from Cass Tech. Diana Ross is 5 feet, 4 inches, or 1.64 meters tall. About Diana Ross's own life. Diana Ross has been hitched 2 times. Furthermore, she has 5 kids. In 1965, she turned out to be sincerely associated with Motown president Berry Gordy. The relationship endured quite a while, bringing about the introduction of Ross's oldest kid, Rhonda Suzanne Silberstein, in August of 1971. 2 months into her pregnancy with Rhonda in January 1971, Ross married music chief Robert Ellis Silberstein, who raised Rhonda as his own girl, notwithstanding knowing her actual paternity. Diana Ross told Rhonda that Berry Gordy was her natural father when Rhonda was 13 years of age ahead of time. Rhonda alluded to Berry Gordy as Uncle BB. Diana Ross has 2 little girls with Silverstein. Tracy Bliss Silverstein, referred to expertly as Tracy Ellis Ross, and Chutney Path Silverstein, brought into the world in 1972 and 1975 separately. Diana Ross and Silverstein separated in 1977. From 1980 to 1983, she dated Quality Simmons, the bassist and co-lead vocalist for the band KISS. They started dating after Cher, who had remained companions with Simmons following their separation. Simmons, in his collection of memoirs, argues that he wasn't dating Cher when he met Ross, which cut off her friendship with Simmons when he gave Ross the mistaken idea that he had continued his relationship with Cher. Simmons' story contrasted in 2015 when he uncovered that he went gaga for Ross while dating Cher, which ended Ross and Cher's fellowship in 1985. Diana Ross met her second spouse, Norwegian transportation magnate Arne Naess Jr., and wed him the next year. She became stepmother to his 3 senior youngsters, Katinka Christopher and people artist Leona Naess. They have 2 children together, Ross Arne, who was brought into the world in 1987, and Evan Olav, who was brought into the world in 1988. Diana Ross and Nay's separation in 2000 after press reports uncovered that Nies had fathered a kid with another lady in Norway. Diana considers Nace her first love. In 2004, Nies Jr. tumbled to his demise in a South African hiking mishap. Diana Ross has 7 grandkids, her grandson Rafe Henoch, who was brought into the world in 2009, her little girl Rhonda's grandson Leaf, who was brought into the world in 2016, and Indigo, who was brought into the world in 2017. Brought into the world to her child Ross Nass's granddaughters Callaway Path, who was brought into the world in 2012 Everly, who was brought into the world in 2019, Chudney's granddaughter Jagger Snow, who was brought into the world in 2015, and grandson Ziggy, who was brought into the world in 2020, and Evan Olav, about Diana Ross' proficient occasion. Diana Ross acquired popularity as the lead vocalist of the vocal group The Supremes, which turned into Motown's best demonstration during the 1960s and one of the world's top-rated young lady gatherings ever following her takeoff from The Supremes in 1970. Diana Ross set out on a fruitful performance vocation in music, film, TV, and in front of an audience. Her eponymous solo collection included the U.S. number 1 hit Ain't No Mountain, Sufficiently High, and a song of praise connected. Furthermore, Contact Someone's Hand was followed by her second independent collection, Everything Will Be Everything. In 1970, which brought forth her most memorable UK number 1 single, I'm Actually Holding Up, she proceeded with her fruitful solo profession by mounting elaborate, unparalleled overall show visits, featuring in various exceptionally watched early evening TV specials, delivering at collections like Touch Me toward the beginning of the day in 1973, Mahogany in 1975, and Diana Ross in 1976, as well as their main hit singles, Contact Me in the Morning. Subject: Mahogany, do you have at least some idea where you're going to, and Love Headache separately? She further delivered various top 10 hits on different board outlines, all through the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. She accomplished a few additional worldwide number 1 singles. Topsy Turvy in 1980, Perpetual Love in 1981. For What Reason Did Imbeciles Become Hopelessly Enamored in the 1982 Chain Response in 1986. Assuming We Hang On Together in 1988, and When You Let Me Know That You Love Me in 1991. Her hits as a preeminent and independent craftsman consolidated put Ross among the main 5 craftsmen on the Bulletin Hot 100 singles outline from 1955. 2018. She had the best 10 UK hits in all of the most recent 50 years and sang lead on a main 75-hit single, no less than once consistently from 1964 to 1996 in the UK, a time of 33 sequential years and a record for any entertainer in 1988. Ross was drafted to the rowdy corridor of notoriety as an individual from the Supremes and is one of the intriguing entertainers to have 2 stars on the Hollywood stroll of notoriety. She was the beneficiary of a unique Tony Grant in 1976, the Kennedy Community Prizes in 2007, and the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Grant in 2012 and 2023. The last option as an individual from the Supremes. Diana Ross has likewise made standard progress and received recognition as an entertainer. Her most memorable job was her brilliant Globe Award-winning and Foundation Award-designated depiction of Billy Occasion in the 1972 film Woman Sings the Blues. She likewise recorded its soundtrack, which turned into a number 1 hit on the U.S. collection Diagram. She likewise featured in 2 other Element films, Mahogany in 1975 and The Wiz in 1978, and later showed up in TV films Out of Murkiness in 1994, for which she was named for a brilliant Globe Grant, and Tooled Platinum in 1999. About Diana Ross's land for a long time. Diana's main living place has been an enormous house in Greenwich, Connecticut. She recorded the home, which sits on 5 sections of land available to be purchased at one point in 2007 for $39.5 million. She didn't find a purchaser, and after the housing market declined, she effectively campaigned to get a discount for local charges, which everything considered were not intelligent of the genuine worth. It's actually 2 bundles, one, which is evaluated at around $9 million, and the other, which is surveyed at $10 million. Since it's a waterfront property, she likewise possesses one more home in Los Angeles, California. She bought the 5-bed, 7-shower, 6,413 sq.ft. home in August of 1995 for $725,000. About Diana Ross vehicle assortment. Diana Ross possesses, or has possessed a 1967 Panther E-Type Roadster, a 1980 Rolls-Royce drophead car, and, what's more, a Chrysler 300 Walter P. Leader series. Well, that is all we have for you today about Diana Ross.